Metal Chironomid, here we come. So we have started this fly by taking the hook, debarbing it, installing the bead, small end first, and securing it in our vise. We'll then take the bead, we're going to move it to the back of the hook, and we're going to install our tying thread right behind the eye. And we only need a few wraps and cut our tag end off. Now we're going to install the gill. So the gill material is uni-stretch, just a small piece, and we're going to end up tying it in the middle. Now we want to keep this really tight to the eye, and you'll see why later. So in the middle, just do a loose wrap, catch it, a couple of wraps there, and we'll do a couple of wraps in behind. We'll wrap back just a little bit, and we can come in, and we're going to whip finish. And just a couple of turns on this. So whip finish, cut it off, and then we're going to take our bead and we're going to slide it up ahead of the gills. At this point, if you have too much material hanging out the front end, you can snip some of it off, but at the end we're going to come back and we're going to trim it up to proper length. So we can come back now and reattach our tying thread behind the bead. And we're only going to put a few wraps on it. Trim our tag off, and we're going to now go in and install. We're going to wrap that back to the front. We're going to install our red wire. Insert it in the bead, catch it, and we want to wrap this along the side to about halfway around the bend. Come back to the bead. And at this point, we're going to start to build the taper up a little bit at the front of the hook. Just in this last little portion, we're going to want to build a little bit of a ramp. And we'll do this in a couple of stages. Every time we come back, we're going to add just a few extra turns, and be careful that you don't add too much. But when we're done, we want this portion to be kind of up level with the bead. Now it's time to add our tinsel. So again, we'll tie it in on the side, just behind the bead. And again, we're going to wrap it down to where we ended with our thread. And then go back to the bead. And again, work on the ramp a little bit. Now installing this tinsel can be a little bit testing of your patience. It is rather difficult when you go to do this, as you'll see, to not have the thread get in your way. There's a couple of different methods you can do as we're wrapping this forward. You can reach in and kind of push your bobbin out of the way. And again, it's important that you do touching wraps with this. And we now can tie it off. So now it's time for our wire. So we're going to start by making a couple of wraps around the base. And then we're going to wrap in evenly spaced wraps up to the bead. We're here targeting to make 7 wraps to the front. Let's see how you make out. Catch the wire. And helicopter it off. We now can come in and we can do just one 4-turn whip finish. And we don't need to add any head cement to this because we are going to be adding some cement to the outside of the fly. Now it's time to go trim the gills. We want the gills to be about 1/8 of an inch long. Now to finish our fly, we can take our head cement and we're going to just put a light coating over top. And that's to protect the fly. You can also use UV resin to do this, which gives it a really nice appearance. And there you have it, the gun Metal Chironomid.